Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to Life, Loss and Hope. We appreciate you joining us. Please continue to like and subscribe. In the last video, we explored the concept and practice and challenges of self-care when grieving. And today I'm going to discuss how important it can be for our well-being to say no and to set boundaries, to create an environment around ourselves when we are very vulnerable that will nurture us, protect us, and help our depleted capacity. Just imagine if we'd been in a car accident or had major surgery that caused physical injuries and limited our mobility and capabilities, how we would naturally adapt our daily life by being less active, avoiding knocking the wounds, tending to them, perhaps sleeping more, resting, asking for help and support, and resetting boundaries and expectations accordingly. So saying no would be common sense to some things. Grief is an invisible wound that demands readjustments and different boundaries in the same way. It has just the same gravity of a physical injury that can be seen externally and gets immediate sympathy and concern. However, the enormity of the internal wounding and pain and grief is largely unseen. But both need tender, loving care and attention to promote healing. Taking care of yourself in grief involves many aspects of self-care, and one of the hardest areas is saying no to people and things that can be too physically draining or emotionally challenging. With the best of intentions, family and friends can appear to want us to get on with normal life, to resume things like we did before, and society in general has a tendency to expect us to move on or get over it quickly. In loss and grief, it's important to do that alien thing of being the most important person in your life and putting your needs and feelings at the center of your decisions. Normally, when somebody asks us to do a favor or invites us to an event, we often find ourselves, if you're like me, immediately saying yes, sounds great, or I'd love to, even before I've mentally processed the request. We're used to being people pleasers, and perhaps the fear of sounding rude or not being liked or rejected is the thing that keeps us saying yes when we want to say no. We have somehow internalized the message that being a good friend, mother or partner or employee means saying yes to everything, and that we will be accepted and liked more if we do. You may have that wonderful gift of being a strong, thoughtful, caring person, and the one who is always doing things for others, a caregiver by nature, which can make it even harder to be the one then to receive, to recognize your own needs, let alone allow them to be a priority. It can feel alien. It is crucial but can be challenging, especially when your needs conflict with someone that you deeply care about, and often leads to the feelings of us being selfish or mean. I've learned it's a life skill to say no, and is particularly vital when you're grieving, and in the long run will help you process your feelings and heal by giving yourself the time, rest and space that is so desperately needed. Grief is not a normal time in your life, as you're already fatigued, cognitively and emotionally challenged, and your reserves, as we see in the capacity video, are low. So setting healthy boundaries will help preserve your physical and emotional reserve that you have when you process and you grieve and you heal. We need this reserve. So here's a really life-changing thought that I've learned to practice. If I'm asked to go somewhere now or do something, I always give myself time before I respond. I always reply by saying, thanks, I'll get back to you later, or let me see if it works for me and I'll let you know. I've discovered that there's no need to give a straight yes or no immediately, and this gives me time to consider several things. Firstly, do I really want to connect with this? And how do I feel about this emotionally? Secondly, will this be good or bad for me at this time in grief? Thirdly, have I got the capacity right now to manage the situation? And fourthly, will it make me feel resentful to say yes when I mean no? It's always better for me to choose the temporary discomfort of saying no to the ongoing resentment of saying yes when my heart isn't in it. Remember, your emotions may be too raw, your energy too low, the situation may be too noisy, too many memories, or other factors that are just not good for you right now. So know your limitations and protect yourself. It's a sign of self-respect, but also a sign of respect in the other person, because you are being honest and authentic with them, which are essential qualities in a relationship. And just remember, saying no to someone else is saying yes to yourself and something that perhaps your heart needs. You don't need to be rude, explain your reasons, or apologize. Things to remember are that you are declining the request, not rejecting the person. You also have the right to value your own time, your emotions, and your physical needs. The other person is unlikely to take it badly and most often will understand when you tell them how you feel. And here's some examples of declining that I have used. For instance, a couple's dinner party. Thank you for thinking of me. That really doesn't work for me at the moment. It's just too hard. But thank you, I need to rest, and maybe another time. Or you could say, thanks for including me, but I am still too emotional right now to cope. Or you could say, thanks, that sounds fun, but I'm pretty exhausted this week. I love you, but I can't do this at the moment. There are polite ways and direct ways that can, and it's always good to indicate that you may feel differently in the future. In the physical world, boundaries are easy to see. We have fences, walls, windows, hedges, and they all distinguish the owner's property so that you can protect it, take care of it, and be responsible for it. But in the same way, the invisible boundaries around our life, our heart, and our mind, we need to establish to help us and help others know what is okay and what is not okay, and what is important to us, especially when we're grieving. In grief, some common areas that you may wish to reconsider the boundaries around your time are your energy, your privacy, your emotions, your home, your belongings, your finances. And maybe an insightful place to start is being aware of any areas of tension or conflict that you've felt since your loss, perhaps with your family. Some of your new boundaries may look like they limit your involvement or support of others as you need to tend your own grief. It may mean you need to limit feedback or other people's opinions on how you are managing your life, what you are doing with your loved one's possessions, their finances, moving house or not, what you should and shouldn't be doing. Remember, it's your grief and it's your business. And it's okay if you want to stay in the family house or keep the possessions or keep the house as it was. You don't need anybody's permission to reshape your blown apart life in a way that suits them. You don't have to share personal things about your loved one's death just because somebody asks. You can also decline offers of help if it isn't what you need at the moment. You can decline an invitation if you don't have the energy. And it's okay not to offer support to others if you don't have that capacity. Most importantly, it's good to communicate to your friends and family your needs in your grief. And the need is primarily to be listened to. You don't need advice, you don't need to be fixed. You just long to be heard. Grief may demand those new boundaries, but they will help you to feel restored and strengthened as you develop the practice of resetting on your healing journey. You can take a day off. You can withdraw from family or friends on a tough day's grief, no matter how long it's been since your loved one died. You can limit questions about how you are doing life by saying, I know your intentions are good. I know you love me, but I don't want to feel hurried into things I'm not ready for. So please don't ask me about this right now. It feels to me as a Christian alien to say no, and I think of myself. But what I've learned is that no is part of our spiritual backbone. God himself said no to many people, to Adam and Eve, to Cain, to Samson, David, Eli, Samuel and Judas. It is a powerful, anointed word when we use it at the proper place and time, spoken to protect, guide, and it can alter the course of our destiny. Although hard to say at first, once you have said it and passed through some initial discomfort, you will gain confidence and respect for your needs. You'll grow stronger, live more authentically, and your capacity will increase, not only for yourself, but for others.